Hi everyone, it's Christy, and I have a couple of books that I would like to dismantle. I would like to remove the cover take the pages out and remove the cover, make it where I can decorate the cover and add my own journaling pages. And then I also use the text pages for other artwork and stuff. So I thought I'd bring you along for the ride so I can show you how I approach this. I'm going to start with this one. This is a Barnes Notes commentary. It belongs to my mother. This one is actually kind of bunged up on the corner. And that's okay. When I remove the pages and go to make this into a journal cover, I can repair that easily enough. But the first thing I want to show you is, if you've never really looked at this, and this is true for hardback books, not for paperbacks, but in a hardback book, you can see that I can actually stick my finger in there, because the text block, the page block is kind of its own standalone unit, and all that's really holding it in is these, if you've ever noticed, there's thicker pages at the very front. It attaches the book pages to the cover, actually. So there's a couple of thick pages at the beginning of every book and the end, and you've probably noticed that. So what I do, I have a couple knives because I wasn't sure. I think one of these might be dull and I don't remember which one. So I bend the cover all the way back so that it makes this buckle open, okay? And then I'm going to look at this, because some of them are a little bit different. Some of them I approach from the inside of that page and some from the outside. I think this one looks like it's naturally wanting to change here. Let me see. And what I'm looking for is, see how this kind of naturally flares open right there? That's kind of a natural cutting place, I think. So I'm going to just cut from that point. Not a real big deal. If there's a couple pages here, they'll be easy to remove once I cut the block open. And then right now I'm just sticking my finger in there to widen that gap a little bit, make it as wide as I can. And then when you put your knife in, you're going to want to cut. Don't cut toward the cover, or you might cut the cover. Cut toward the text block. And so there's kind of a nice little gap there that I've created by pulling it apart with my fingers. And then I'm going to just try not to cut myself. Okay, I got it started. You can see how that's kind of coming off. And it's actually, once you get it started, it's really easy. Oop, that's okay. Cut into the text pages some. And then I usually will flip it over and do the same thing from the other side. And kind of work this a little bit. This end is a little bit stiffer. I had been playing with the other side more. Okay, here we go. Starting to get some separation there. Okay. So once you kind of get it to buckle out where you have some space to work with, you can see where you're aiming for. And you just do the same thing. That feels like I might have cut into the cover, but it's okay. If I did cut into the cover a little bit, I can cover it, repair it when I go to make a journal cover. All right, making sure you're still in frame. Yep. So sometimes it takes a little effort to get in here and just kind of keep slicing away. There we go. Whoop, that did it. Once you're through, you're through. Last little thing. Okay. So I have removed it on that side. You can see the cover is fully cut off. And then I just have to cut through this side, which will be easier to work with. In this case, I think I might... Which way do I want to go? Yeah, I'll just keep with this. Yep. All right. And now I have the chunk of pages and the cover. And because of how I cut through that, I just have a couple extra pages here that I can easily remove. Went crooked on that side, so I'll flip it over and come from the other side. Move that text block, page block out of the way. And first couple times you do this, it'll feel awkward and it might take you longer. Like that one, there's a little flap there, but I can work on that later. I'll just clean that up with put it on a cutting board and cut that off and clean that out. And then I'll have a book that I can use for a journal cover. But for the sake of moving on, let me pick up a little bit of this. Okay. Now this one is a smaller book, and sometimes smaller books are actually a little bit more difficult to work with. Let me just see what I've got here. And as you can see, there's not, room to get my finger in there, but you can see that it's buckling. I noticed that on the other side, though, it doesn't want to buckle. It might be glued a little bit. Sometimes some manufacturers will put a little bit of glue in there, and others don't. I think looking at it, it just looks like it might be just the pages might be just wedged in there more tightly. There's not as much room to give, because now that I pull at the cover and work it a little bit, it's starting to separate. So not a big deal. Just kind of massage it around and it'll loosen itself up to where you can get the knife in there and cut it. But I'm going to start with this end because it's opening up a little bit better. Now this one, because of how it's just laying, before on the other book, there was a couple pages where it naturally wanted to lay open, and so I used that to cut, but this one's laying open naturally this way. It's telling me which way it wants me to cut it. Just let the book talk to you. It'll tell you what it wants, how to handle it. And so I have less room on this one. This is a situation where it's more likely that I could nick the cover, cut through the cover, because I have less room to maneuver the knife to avoid, It's cutting like butter, though. Okay. And then I frequently end up turning it over and coming from the other side just because I find that easier to work at the top of the book instead of right down by the table. Okay. Yeah, and I did cut through the cover, but that's okay. I'll show you that. You can't see it yet, but I can see it. Yeah, they had glued this spine into the this is glued in a little bit different. Some different manufacturers, they just handle the books different ways, so it's just keep working at it. Turn it over. Keep. There we go. Voila. So the block of pages has been removed. The cover came out fairly clean. This is where this part looks like maybe just the top, but it was lightly glued in. I'm not going to take too much of that out because it does help. Well, maybe I will. It's always a toss-up. The more you leave in their spine, the more reinforced it is, but it also makes it bumpy. So sometimes it's a toss up whether to tear it out or leave it. Now I wanted to show you, I don't know if you can see it. Okay, I did not cut through to the front of the cover. I thought when I was cutting it, I thought I cut through, but I had only cut through into this portion, the cardboardy area on the inside. So once in a while, your blade can cut through all the way to this front, and that's easy to repair. You just put some tape over the spine, like a bookbinding tape or just a packaging tape, or I prefer, I think, like a duct tape. I just put that over there, and then you're going to cover it with fabric or something anyway, so it's not going to show, but that reinforces usually the inside and the outside if it needs it. But yeah, so that's how you remove a cover or remove the text block. So now I have 2 covers I can work on for journals, and I have pages that I can use for art projects, painting, making little embellishments and collage boards and all kinds of things. So that is what I wanted to show you today. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this or learned something, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.